Greetings, welcome, and good day. You are now tuned in to the 5th episode of the Seasoned Vet Podcast. I'm so happy you can make it to another chapter of the show. This week we're joined by a Coast Guard unicorn. But to be fair, she did start her military career in the Navy. This Lieutenant Junior grade has experienced a career that most of us can only dream of. Her first commanding officer was a black lady, and her Coast Guard journey was set from there. Starting with her first unit, she was able to build a village of mentors because she was immediately met with guidance from people who care about her. And it's because of this village of mentors that she was able to take advantage of Coast Guard programs that led her from being an E4 to an O2. Her story reiterates not only the importance of having a village, but also the advantages of having one. Her story is so unique that it reminded me of a Langston Hughes poem. And that's why I had to name this episode, Life for Me Has Been a Crystal Stair. Friend, welcome. How's it going?
Great, great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So first things first, what is your connection to the service? What branch did you join? How long have you been in? Do you have any family in the service?
I'm in the Coast Guard.
Whoop, whoop. Come on.
I hit 11 years this summer.
Nice.
No family in the service unless you count my wife, but other than that,
that's family shit.
Yeah. Well, we are first generation military members.
Right on. How'd you even wait? Normally, when people join the military, they're surrounded by like friends, family they like grew up with. So like, what was your exposure? What put you onto the military?
Oh man, I was just trying to get out of Miami. So let's take it back. Born and raised in Miami, Florida, and I was just once I graduated high school, I really had no direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to go to college, and immigrant parents, so from Central America. I knew they couldn't afford to pay for college, so I was trying to figure out something to do. I actually joined the Navy first, in the reserves, and I thought that they paid for your school, and I realized for reservists they don't really pay that much.
It's not the same, right?
Recruiter, she got me. But I didn't realize I was going to love it. I think what happened to me is even though I joined the reserves, I deployed right away.
Wow.
And I did a tour in Afghanistan, and I didn't realize I was going to love it. Loved it. Yep. And I came back, and I wanted to be active duty, and I called every other branch, and they were like, oh, we're not taking prior service. Coast Guard was like, we'll take you today.
Absolutely. That response is a lot quicker nowadays. We down bad.
Yeah.
We will take anybody. You look very young. We're taking up to, I think, 42, but that's every branch. We're taking up to age 42 nowadays. So that's what's up. Navy first, Coast Guard second. All right. I don't blame you. Next question was going to be, what branch of service was your first choice? It sounds like the Navy was.
The Navy was. The Navy definitely was. I think the Navy just appealed to me. I kind of really didn't, being in Miami, really, there's a lot of Coast Guard presence because, we're doing all migrants down there and stuff like that. But I literally researched. I think the Air Force was a good choice, but I ultimately went with the Navy. And I don't regret it. I was a CB first, so I was in a construction battalion.
Wow.
I never was on a boat until I joined the Coast Guard. So we flew everywhere. I got to fly in some pretty cool planes. That was pretty interesting.
So how do you feel about your time in uniform so far? Does any particular time period stand out?
Oh man, I'm a lifer. I really am. The military is for me. I would say my experience is not really like most people because I've been placed in situations where there was quite a few people that looked like me.
Right on. That's luck.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky. I think there's a few periods that stand out to me, but mainly my boat. My first boat as a non-raid was I was on the Bear out of Portsmouth, Virginia, and it sucked. Yeah, non-raid, and I was a non-raid at 23, I believe. And I was like, I don't want to do this stuff. And
that was right after the Navy too.
Yeah, and I was a fireman, and my MK3, he was like, Cash, go get raided. This isn't the real Coast Guard. You're not gonna be doing this stuff. I was like, okay.
Somebody had to push you into going to A school.
No, I think he had to push me into staying.
Oh, okay.
At that point, I was like, man, forget this. Man. And I've only been in for like a couple of seconds at that point. I was like, it's easy to be like, I'm out.
Right.
But he was like, man, go get rated. He was like, go get rated. You know, this isn't the real Coast Guard. You know, go do a job. And
Go do a job.
Yeah, like go do something, and then you know, holler at me and let me know, you know, what you think then. So.
Hold on. That is not to imply that our non-race are unemployed. They are heavily employed human beings. They're hardworking people.
Yes, please. It sucks because they're doing the jobs that nobody wants to do.
That's it. Yeah,
so,
that's it.
But yeah, so I looked and I was like, all right, what can get me off this boat the fastest? And I looked in the ET rate, they were moving. So
yeah.
Put my name. Back then, you had to wait 6 months to get qualified.
Yeah.
So I waited I got qualified. I did all my pracs, and then they let me put my name on the ETA school list, and I was out of there in like 3 months after that. So I only spent like 9 months.
Nice.
Underway.
I mean, that's still sea time. Right.
No, it counted. It definitely counted when it came to pick time. It definitely counted. So I think that was my first introduction into the Coast Guard, into really people how important it is to have somebody that look like you.
Yes.
That knows like, look, me, Jack, relax. You know what I mean?
So the MK that was pushing you.
He's black.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Rich, if you're hearing this, shout out to you. I still talk to him to this day too, but yeah, for sure.
How do you think your experience could have been improved, or could it have been improved? It sounds like you've had a couple of good times.
I had a few good times, and honestly, like whenever I was in like bad situations, I was fortunate, like I said, to have people that looked like me that were able to navigate me through those things that I was going through. So I definitely think representation matters in that regard. I wouldn't be here had it not been for people.
So you got a village.
Yeah, I do have a village.
Right on. Really. And you keep up with them.
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely. One of my best friends, I met her in the Coast Guard.
Right on.
When we were in ETA school. She was going through yeoman school.
Right on. Boop, boop. Yeah. Come on, yeoman.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about a time when you experienced something, either good or bad, that you know to be unique to you because you're a black woman? Either good or bad.
I wouldn't say maybe not good or bad, but neutral. I know hair is a real thing.
Yes.
In the Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm.
And for women, especially black women, they really don't know what to tell us. And I remember when I was in New Orleans and I was growing my hair out, so I had it in a protective style to where it was like box braids, and I had it in this big bun. And my supervisors, bless their heart, I ain't mean nothing malicious, but they're just looking at me like wondering, number one, if it's in regs. Number two, am I allowed to wear it like that? So just having to navigate that.
No, there's books for that. They were looking. Yeah. No, they were looking at you and making observations and what. There are books for that. If they wanted to know, they could have done their research.
Yeah. So navigating through that, and then having to now I was enlisted back then, and then going to, my boat as an officer and watching like females just regular ponytail. Because the Coast Guard now you're allowed to have ponytails.
Right.
But because ours, it's like, it's like a little rabbit tail, a little bunny thing. They don't know what to say. They're like, hey, you got to put that up. That's not regs. And I'm like, I literally had to print out the regs and put it on the board.
And here's the thing.
She's allowed to have this.
Look, if you can find what the doggone regs are, why couldn't they? Yeah. They're just pinpointing people and bullying them, it looks like.
So navigating through that, hair is a real big thing. And then for me, trying to hold on to as much of my individuality as I can. It's like, being in the military, they want everybody to look the same.
Right.
You always got to do the same things. So I try as I might until somebody's like, all right, Cash, you can't do that. Then I'm just like, okay, where's that? And I have these flat earrings. They're studs, but they're like flat. So I'm like, all right, cool, I can wear them. They're round. They're like a circle. And then every time they're like, man, you can't wear that. And I'm just like, all right, cool. But I just try to like hold on to a part of myself, just to remain like as much as me as I can. So
right on. While remaining within regs.
Yes.
Even though you're the only one reading the regs, it sounds like. At this point, you could just start making up your own regs.
I can start making up stuff, man. Funny thing, man, when I was in A school, I cut my hair into a mohawk. And the way he cut it the first time, like you couldn't even tell it was a mohawk because my hair is curly. Mm-hmm. And then some of my counterparts, we all went because they thought it was the coolest thing. Obviously they didn't look like me. And then he cut a hard triangle in the back of our heads. And their class advisor saw it. And he just made us all like snip it all off. I was just like, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So I do try to push the limits a little bit. But.
I mean, well, they're pushing it by pushing preference instead of policy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm just like, to me, I just feel like stuff like that's crazy. Like, as long as my members can show up and do their job, I don't care what. You can dye your hair green, I don't care.
Right on. What's really important here?
Yeah.
When you bring complaints up to your chain of command, or when you brought complaints up to your chain of command, did you feel heard?
I did. I think I was very fortunate to, like I said, man, and not everybody I worked with were that looked like me, but I think I was just fortunate to be put in situations where people do listen to me. And I think it's because of the person I am, my character. You know, I'm not just complaining just to complain, but whenever I bring like complaints to them, it seems to be like, okay, we need to look at this, or maybe, you know, if this is a unit thing, is it a you thing? You know, maybe we should have a sit down, and because maybe more people are feeling the way you are, and nobody wants to say anything. So I think every time I speak, you know, at least somebody tries to listen.
Do you feel that that's more so now with your new rank than it was when you were enlisted?
Yes, I would say. Now you have them bars. A lot of people tend to listen to you versus when you were when you're enlisted. As an ET3 though, I don't think I've had like many issues that I needed to bring apart. Unless it was like I was trying to like say something was like, you know, prejudice or something like that. They try to stomp those kind of things out. But I think when you do have rank, people tend to listen to you more. Mm-hmm. And I'd be lying if I said I became an officer because I be the change you want to see. No, it was definitely for the money, but the rank definitely helps make change, you know.
And now that you're in somebody's chain of command, do you feel like you're a better member of their chain of command than you had in yours?
I think I am. You know, I've had some pretty good leaders in my chain of command, and I think the leader that I am today, I try to model after them. Like I said, going down to my first unit out of A school was as an ET3. My CO was black, so
wow,
a black female. Went down to New Orleans.
What?
Yeah. So I've always had like.
Who the hell gets that lucky?
I don't know, man.
Just you. This is a.
Whoever the divine.
Hey, this is a seasoned vet exclusive.
Yeah. Let me tell you, like, and sometimes I feel bad, you know, because I listen to other people's stories, and I'm like, man, my experiences is not like that.
Life for you has been a crystal stair.
Yeah, and not to discount.
Jokes on you, Langston Hughes.
And not to discredit, and because I know that there are definitely black females in the service that are going through way worse stuff that I have experienced, but my experience has definitely been far different. Not saying that I ain't do some crazy stuff on my own to jeopardize my own career, because I was young and dumb, but I had those sisters that were. Let me take you under my wing because you need some guidance.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Oh, that's actually a good segue to this next one. In the beginning of your career, when you needed guidance and mentorship, were those resources provided, or did you have to seek them out?
No, man. Those resources for me I provided. Like I said,
wow.
I was a young ET3.
Come on, Crystal Stair.
Yeah, man. And I was like, my first meeting with my CO, like I said, black female. I went to her office. I am in awe of this,
by the way.
Went to her office, and she was like, Cash, what do you want to be? I was like, oh, man, I want to make chief. I want to be a warrant. I want to go, you know, do 20 years in the Coast Guard. I want to be enlisted. I love it here. I want to be a warrant. She was like, man, if you want to be an officer, you need to come over now. And I was like, hey, me. What are you talking about? And she was like, you want to come over now? This is and the third. And she was like, these are the opportunities that you can do. Look into them. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. One of my supervisors in my chain, he was a black lieutenant.
Come on.
And he sat in, many times in his office, sat in there, and he was like, Cass, let me talk to you on money. I know how to talk to you. He was like, and he started literally breaking down my retirement, what I could be making, and this, that, and third. He was like, go back to school. I was like, okay. So signed up for an associate's program on Thomas Edison online, using my ET credits and this and that. I was in their bachelor's program, sorry. And he was like, Cash, get your associates. I was like, why? Everybody wants their bachelor's, you know what I mean? He was like, something happens, you get out of the Coast Guard, you never know, you have at least a degree to fall back on.
Right on.
Roger that, sir. I called my advisor, and I told her, hey, I'm in this bachelor's program, but what can I do to get my associates? She looked me up. She was like, if you take these 3 classes, you can have your associates in like 6 months. So nice. I said, okay, bam, I'm going to do that. Literally like a week later, they had a presentation on C-Spot. And I was like, man, it sounds interesting, but I was like, I don't know if I qualify, this, that, and third. And Mr. Harrell, he was just like, apply. He was like, the worst thing they can do is tell you no. I was like, okay. Put in an application once. I didn't get it. My CEO looked at it. She was just like, Cash, we're going to apply again. I was like, okay. We applied again. I got picked up on the second time.
Come on.
So, I've actually, 3 of my mentors that I have now, I met at ESD New Orleans. 2 of them were stationed there. And then 1, my CEO put me in contact with. And like, to when you, like, your mentors really become your friends. Because she's really, I've been almost commissioned for 4 years. She's been my mentor for the last 4 years.
She's still in?
Yeah, she's getting ready to retire soon. And so I'm like, damn, I'm getting old. But they raised me up. I'm about to make lieutenant now, and I would not be where I am today without them. So I was going through some stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You got a unicorn story. I'm so glad we're talking.
It's crazy.
It's crazy how good your career has been so far. How good your story is so far. Like this is
not to say that
this is refreshing.
Right. It's not to say that I was never the only, because in my ETH school I was the only female, only black female. There's 20 of us, so it's me and 19 guys. And man, those guys were like my brothers, man. It's like for our class picture, they had me in the middle, and they all centered around me. So I've been surrounded by some pretty good people in the Coast Guard.
I love it. I do love it. Good segue to this next question. I think you've kind of answered it. It is, have you been able to make friends with other Black lady veterans? And are you purposeful about building your village? I think yeah.
Oh, yes.
The answer is yes and yes.
Yes.
All right, Miss Cash, tell me a war story.
I'll tell you how I even made it to OCS. Like, I literally was in debt, like $60,000 worth of debt.
Did you buy a car?
No.
This is just life?
I wish this was just life. Right?
You was just having fun?
There's hope here. You know what I mean?
Not
even early 20s Cash. Like, let me see.
You were an adult with this?
Like 27. I was 27 racking up debt, man.
This is a student loan debt?
Making poor choices. No, I was in C-Spot. The Coast Guard was paying for my degree.
Girl, $60K?
60 grand. 60 grand.
Do you just hate good credit?
No, I didn't. Man,
she said 800 is for the birds. I don't want to fly.
So 60 grand in debt, not knowing how I'm gonna make it. First of all, I'm not even knowing how I'm able to pay my bills, like because my car note was $500. You know,
Christ.
You know, and then paying on all these bills, like Navy Federal, bless them. They will continue to up your limit and give you. They gave me a $20,000 credit card, and I had already owed them 15 grand. Yeah.
Come on.
So shout out to Navy Federal, man. Y'all be holding us down. They were like, "Yep, rack up them debt." So yeah, man, trying to pay, because that was like $500 trying to pay it, because I maxed it out. So my mentors, you know what I mean? They were like, one of my mentors today, Lieutenant Commander Elmore, we sat down in her office, man, and she was just like, Cash, let me tell you something. She was like, if you make it to OCS, she was like, you ain't gonna have no fun. While everybody's going out on liberty, you tell them good luck, have fun. She was like, because you dug yourself to this hole, we're gonna get out of it. She made a debt plan for me.
Come on.
We sat down and she was like, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna save your money, and every debt you can pay off.
Yeah.
You let it sit in your account so you're used to having the money, and then you pay it off. She's like, start with the smallest one and you work your way from there. Got to OCS, met one of my closest friends I have now, my homeboy. He was stationed in Hawaii. We took the 2 billets out of Honolulu. He went the deck watch officer route, and I went to the engineer. Got cool with him, cool with his wife. He was like, look, Cash, we'll rent you our room. You know, you pay us whatever you pay us. Not less than $1 grand.
Nice.
For the room in Hawaii. And
In Hawaii?
In Hawaii.
Less than $1 grand.
He rented me his room from. Because he knew what I was trying to do, you know. So
you keep running into these unicorns, man.
I rented a room from them, and I'm talking about, by the time I left there, I had 1 debt left to pay off. 60 grand. Now I think about it now, and I'm like, I could have had 60 grand. But it was just a blessing. So yes, it is definitely possible. Thank God for all these people in my village, and that's why that's so important to me, because they literally took the time to invest in me. Because she didn't have to care. No,
that's
because during that time, right, and during that time, I had totaled my car, totaled my Equinox.
That's where the debt came from.
No, not even there.
No?
I was already in debt, but I totaled it and it got rid of that.
Were you eating Red Lobster for breakfast?
No.
What the hell?
I totaled it and it got rid of that $500 car payment. And
congratulations.
my best friend, the one that I met in Yeoman School, she was like, Cash, she was like, it sucks, but you gotta look at it as a blessing. She was like, because now that's $500 you don't have to pay no more. And I bought me a little beater.
Okay.
So I didn't have a car note, so I was able to keep my head above water. And
Right on.
made it through OCS, and then went on to Honolulu. Yeah.
And paid less than $1,000
for rent, and was able to pay off $60,000 worth of debt.
That is unheard
It's insane.
of.
Like,
yes,
half of the time, like, I show people my budget sheet, because when I'm telling you the story, they're like, "There's no way you just met somebody in OCS and they let you just stay in their house." And I'm like, "No, I can call him up right now and he'll tell you."
You can't Airbnb a room in Hawaii.
I'm telling you. Yeah, but man, those people are my family. They're like my brother.
Yeah, they would be my family too.
My brother, my sister. I talk to him.
We go into all the reunions.
I talk to him on a daily basis. We have friends vacation with him and his wife. We all, him, his wife, my wife, and her cousin. We all went to Dominican Republic. Like, forever my family, man. My village is people that they become my family, because I was down bad, and like to even make it here to where I'm about to be a lieutenant is like, I have to think about all these times where I didn't know I was gonna make it.
Do you feel that the way you have been treated has improved with rank?
Oh, for sure. Not saying I was treated poorly as a ET3. I wasn't. Like, I had blast down in New Orleans.
Yeah, about $60K worth of blast. Yeah.
I did a lot of fun down there. Those guys are cool, you know. But I think people look at you differently, you know. You do come across some of those airheads who feel like, you know, you don't deserve to be in their branch, or they say crazy stuff like the only reason, you know, you're an officer, or especially when they find out you came through C-Spy, is because you're black. You know what I mean?
They really think affirmative action is just like affirmative actioning. It is not.
Until I start talking, and then you realize, oh, I have a degree in electrical engineering, and it's just like, yes, sir, I've done some things.
Yeah.
I've been to Afghanistan. Have you? You know. But I think being an officer, number one, not only it commands that respect because they have to respect your rank. But once they see my ribbon rack, now they're okay. Like, all right, hold on, she's done some things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that's more where the respect comes from. Is that I've been enlisted before. You know,
right.
Now I'm over here on the officer side, so they don't look at me like I don't really know anything, and I have to salute. You know what I mean? But I do take joy and solace in those people that are airheads that they still have to bend that 90 degrees when they see me.
Right on.
It's definitely a little different in the boardroom.
I love it. Love it. You got some street cred. Has there ever been a tough situation where another sister helped you out?
Oh, yeah, my 60K, that situation there.
Or a situation where you were able to help another sister out?
For people helping me, that was definitely the 60K. Because my village at that time were nothing but black women.
Come on.
And black officers at that.
Come on.
Yeah, you know, all these women that were in my life trying to help me they were black women. Like, and it was just like, Cash, you can do it. Like, you can make it. You know, and my one of my mentors, Lieutenant Commander Elmore, she was just like, look, just listen to me. All you have to do is listen to me, and I promise you, we're gonna get out of that. So. That for sure. And then now, like, you know, once you come across people and you meet people and they realize that, you know, I'm relatable. Yeah. You know, I start getting these mentees and people requesting to talk to me and my advice and stuff. So I think I take pride in that. I don't know if I'm able to help anybody yet, or, you know, I've told my story a million times. So maybe somebody out there in the future will be like, I'm Miss Cash, you don't know, but help me out. But so far, I've just started to get little mentees that I'm trying to help, you know, either become officers or just see them through to boot camp. And I think I definitely value that more than anything.
Right on. I love it. Okay. Tell me something you wish you had known before joining the service.
Well, before I joined the Navy, I wish I would have known a little bit more about the educational part than I did. I think that probably would have either deterred me a little bit or not. And then I wish I would have known about the Coast Guard before I joined any branch. I think this has been the best experience for me, and I think this is the best branch that I could have ever been a part of. All of my opportunities that I've had, I'm on my 3rd degree now, all paid for by the Coast Guard.
Come on. Yeah. Get it. So you would have joined the Coast Guard first.
I would have joined the Coast Guard first, yes.
You are an advertisement. Mm-hmm. Tell me about a time you learned a lesson you weren't ready to learn.
In life or just in the Coast Guard?
Either one. Dealer's choice.
Oh, let's go with life.
Let's get it.
People out there, you know what? This applies to service members too. A lot of us get married young. We get to A school, we meet these people, and we're just like, oh man, this is great.
Hold on. She's saying the story right beside her wife.
Yeah.
So I just want to know where this is about to go.
Because I was married before.
Okay.
Yes. I think choosing your partner is the most valuable lesson that I can ever have learned, and I learned that the hard way.
Okay.
That's where the 60 grand came from, guys.
Oh, okay, all right.
I was married before. And that's where that came from. So
I'm so sorry I chastised you.
I just thought I was out here being reckless. Making 20-year-old decisions. No, I was out here making dumb decisions. But I think learning financial literacy is important. I think that's very important. We all make jokes about the non-ready who graduate boot camp and they go out and buy a Mustang and, you know, she has a Mustang outside.
Don't judge me. I'm not in the mood for you.
They go buy a Mustang and they're just like, yeah, but it's just like, yo, you can't afford this Mustang on a non-rate salary. You know what I mean? I think that is one valuable lesson with money that I learned the extreme hard way because my goodness, I didn't have fun for like a good 2 years because I was trying to crawl my way out of debt. And I'm 29, almost 30, learning this hard lesson. I'm just like, what am I doing with life? So when I met my wife who had it all together at like 22,
come on,
I was just like,
responsibility.
What was I doing? When I'm telling her these stories, she couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Because she was just like, bro, like all I have is my student loan debt, and that's before she joined C-SPY. So that made sense because she was already, you know, trying to get her degree, and before the Coast Guard came along, and I was just out here. No, I was out here buying bags, Birkins.
Come on,
charging it to the card.
Buy now, pay later. Way later.
So
with interest.
Financial was my hardest life and military lesson that I had to learn. And it came at me hard when I was actually when you're trying to do something and you realize like, oh snap, I'm about to be an adult here. I got to get it together.
I'm about to be an adult here.
I feel like I didn't really grow up until I turned 30. Once I turned 30, a switch flipped, and I was like, I'm an adult now.
Congratulations on hitting adulthood. We are all proud of you.
3 years removed.
Oh, you actually answered this one. Do you feel that you're a better leader than the ones you grew under?
I think so. And I think that's what you want, right? When I want somebody to come along who could work for me and I see them and they're doing so much better than I could have done. Because that means I'm leaving the service better than what I found it.
Right on.
So I definitely think that's what my mentors and leaders, that's what they would want.
That's what's up. You better leave your mark. Are there any sisters in the service that inspire you? They could be active, retired, dead, whatever.
Yes, there's actually a few. Captain Cunningham, she's retired. She was my CO at ESD. It's definitely an inspiration.
Right on.
Just to see her because I knew she was an ET3 as well before commissioning.
Yeah.
So just to have, I've had a lot of tangible things. Miss Wolf, she just made captain. Another one of my mentors I met from ESD New Orleans. Lieutenant Commander Elmore, I know she's getting out now. She's still in. And then our Captain Zeta Merchant, man, she is an inspiration to us all. I don't think if you're living under a rock, if you're in the Coast Guard and you don't know who Zeta Merchant is.
I love it. Hey, she's getting patted on the shoulder by her wife. Her wife is chuckling extra hard over here. It's a good day. Let's say you were just starting your life on your own and you were presented with the chance to join the service for the first time. Knowing what you know now, would you join?
Oh, absolutely. I would join feet first, drowning and all. I definitely would. I love the military. I believe it provides so much structure for me. It gives me a routine, the benefits in it, and I've met some of the greatest people that are a part of my village because of the military.
I love this response. I love this story. Come on. So I think I already know the answer to this next one. If you had a daughter or or any young impressionable black girl in your life that you cared about, and she was considering a life in the military, would you try and talk her out of it?
Absolutely not. My wife, yes, maybe we talk about that with our kids, but that's one of the conversations that we have where we don't agree. I want our kids, to be in the military, and she was just like, if it's
Why
their
they gonna
choice,
get the GI Bill thanks to you?
yes, and her. So, but she's just like, I mean, if it's their choice, and I'm just like, I just pray that it's their choice. Because we're already gonna start them off, better than our parents, started us off, and that's what our parents would want, right? So they're gonna have everything that they need and desire, but the military also gives you that freedom, because now I'm not there to wake you up and say, hey, you didn't make your bed, all right, go catch the bus, I'll make it for you. You know what I mean? You're on your own. You're getting to see, other countries that maybe we haven't taken you to yet. You get to live in some of these other places and just be around some really great people. Not saying that you're not going to be around some airheads, but for the most part, hopefully we would have taught them how to weed out the good people from the bad people. But I think that being in the service, you create some of the greatest bonds, some of the people that you can depend on. Like my homeboy, I was saying I live with him in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. If we're planning a trip, there is not a second that I won't think that he can't go. Or that he'll tell me he's going, and now I have to cover his part because he ain't going to be able to make it. You know what I mean? It's just like, being able to make those connections and meet those people. I think that, they would definitely benefit from being in the military. But I also want them to go to HBCU too. So.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Come on. Howard, TSU, Spelman, Morehouse. Let's get it.
Hampton, Virginia State, because that's where we're from.
I mean, whatever. It's cool. I'm from Texas, so I go up for...
Go Trojans.
I go up for TSU and Prairie View. Recruitment and retention is down across all the branches. Mm-hmm. And with all the demographics, Black women are not excluded from that. This was true even before the pandemic. Why do you think Black women are so disinterested in joining the military?
I think the military is unappealing sometimes, man. I can't get my nails did any color I want to. I can't have my hair how I want it. I got somebody telling me what to do all the time. I get it, girl. You ain't gotta. It's tough.
I hope you get roasted for this black scent you tried to pull off.
I do it all the time.
She tried it, y'all. She tried it.
So I think that aspect of it, when you're just trying to have little things that are your personality, you may not want to have like a full set, but you might want to have one nail that's like pink, my favorite color, and it's like, I can't even do the simplest things. And then, like when you're trying to have a family, most women I talk to, they think that they can't have a family and be in the military. They can't have kids. They can't have a husband, or they have to be the one who sacrifice. If they're married member to member, they can't do the jobs they want to do because somebody got to stay home with the baby. I know that's a topic of discussion for us when we're trying to have a family. We're two Black women, in the same household, and it's like, okay, thank God she's day to day and just like, I want to, maybe I'm in, maybe I'm out, But if she was just like, nah, man, hey, I want to do 22, and I want to take a job out in Alaska because I'm a response officer. It's benefit for my career, and I'm just like, well, I'm cyber and intel. I got to be over here in DC, so. Thank God we're able to navigate that to where we don't have these issues. But I think a huge part of it, aside from I was joking, guys. I was joking about the hair and the nails. But aside from that, I think the biggest factor is that women want to start a family and they feel like they have to sacrifice their careers in order to do so. They feel like they can't have both. So I think me telling my story, I always tell people, no matter who I'm talking to, I go out and talk to high schools, and they have those same concerns. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be separated from their families because maybe they're military brats, and they see that their dad's been away. They don't want that for their kids. I always tell them I'm married, and I tell them I'm married member to member, and we make it work because I want them to understand that it's doable, it's possible. You can have a career and you can have a family at the same time.
All right. Okay, Miss Cash, if you were conducting this interview from where I'm sitting, what question would you have asked you that I did not ask you?
What would I ask me? I don't know. I think we pretty much hit on all. I think I had a question and then I lost it throughout the
I stumped her, y'all. I got her.
I think you asked all the questions that I would ask me.
Well, I would have asked about the 60K.
No,
but you covered it. You went all the way over. Like you covered yourself. And I am once again sorry for trying to roast you on that, man. Now I feel bad.
You're being just reckless. buying a Maserati. I couldn't afford it.
It's like, yo, are you eating Red Lobster every day, every meal?
No, man. I was
Cheddar Bay
down
biscuits
to
are not
eat
that
ramens,
good.
man.
Okay, well, is there anything you would like to leave our audience with?
I would say, hey, if you're really thinking about a career in the military, do your research and add the Coast Guard into your list. I know other people. The Air Force is sexy. The the Navy, man, even the Marines get looked at before the Coast Guard. And I'm just like, man, we're out here. We're out here. We're out here, and we're creating quality people, quality officers. Definitely give us a look. Give us a shout out. And please, please, please get yourself some mentors.
Right on.
Create you a village. You're not gonna survive without one.
Amen. You did that. Hey, thank you for showing up. Thank you for sitting down and talking to me. And I've never spoken to someone with such a really good experience. Like, you crystal stared and unicorned it all the way through your career. You've been put in some really good positions.
I was. I think
really good people.
I was pretty fortunate.
Yeah.
I would say that, like, my story, it's not like if whatever you believe in, if you believe in God or an entity, whatever, I have to believe that there's somebody above looking out for me. Because, I didn't choose to go. I didn't want to go to ESD New Orleans. It was in my top 5, but it wasn't my choice. I wanted to go home. I had, 3 Florida picks on my list, Key West, Miami, or Mayport, and I was like, for sure, I'm going home. I was like, let's go. I'm gonna go back home. And then when I got my orders and it said New Orleans, I kind of went kicking and screaming. But it was all of my opportunities came from there. And I have to believe that somebody knows better than me, because every unit I was in, every path that was laid out for me led me to where I am now. Even my current unit now, I did not want to be there. I came kicking and screaming. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but there's nothing wrong with it. But it was just like I was in Honolulu. My wife, we weren't married at the time, and she was in Texas. And I was like,
come on, Texas.
I was like, yo, we can buy a house in Houston. The market's great. There's no way I'm coming off of a boat overseas that they're not going to send me where I want to go. I got an email, and the detailer said, you know what? We looked you up. Your degree, your background used to be ET. I think these jobs will be perfect for you. It was a short list.
It was a short list.
24 picks. So they were lieutenant and lieutenant JG billets, all in the C5 ISE realm. So all ET, IT related stuff.
Wow.
And I love it. It's great.
That's what's up.
So
thank you all for tuning in to another episode of The Seasoned Vet. Y'all have a good one now.
Peace.
Bye. And that concludes the 5th episode of the Seasoned Vet podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. And a special thank you to Miss Cash and her village of mentors for making this interview possible. Now, if you are or know a Black lady veteran who would like to sit down with me and be a part of the show, please email me at seasonedvetpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can call or text message me at 713-254-0970. You can also find, follow, and inbox me, The Seasoned Vet, across all platforms of social media. At Real Seasoned Vet on Twitter, at Seasoned Vet Podcast on Instagram, at Seasoned Vet Podcast on TikTok, at Seasoned Vet on YouTube, Seasoned Vet on Facebook. Y'all, I'm so out there, I'm even on Spoutable. That's at The Seasoned Vet on Spoutable. Now, if you like what you heard, please like it, share it, rate it, and leave a good review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. And if you're hearing this episode on the day that it drops, then you're listening to it on the 14th anniversary of former astronaut Major General Charles F. Bolden Jr. becoming the 12th administrator of NASA after being nominated by President Barack Obama. And if she were still alive, today would also be Diane Carroll's 88th birthday. Thank you again for tuning in. And until next time, fall out.